Whether you loved or hated it, Friends still remains a cultural phenomenon. But what if we told you that this dynamic group of pals with a penchant for dancing in fountains was actually a collective of selfish, petty, and dishonest sociopaths? Here are 7 reasons we think that every character on Friends is a bad friend. In the episode The One Where No One's Ready, the writers spent a whole episode exploring how selfish this group is, with an entire story about how almost none of them are ready on time for Ross's fancy black tie event at the museum.
Why aren't you guys dressed?
We have a half hour.
Hang on a second, I just got in. I'm not gonna go.
It was a great example that these friends are not the type you can count on to show up where you need them to. Ross learned the lesson the hard way. When he arrives at the apartment, he finds only Phoebe ready to go. The rest of the group are nowhere near ready. This episode was a bottle episode that took place in real time and entirely in the living room of Monica and Rachel's apartment. That's 22 minutes, not counting commercial breaks. The clock is ticking. The friends spend their limited time making things worse. Chandler and Joey get into a dumb argument over a chair, which caused a glop of hummus to splatter all over Phoebe's dress. Now nobody was ready.
God, you rotten boys!
Rachel took her sweet time, and Monica was too absorbed dealing with boyfriend drama to bother being on schedule. Did anyone forget this was Ross's special day? Bad friends! It takes a pretty terrible friend to violate the bro code and smooch their friend's girl.
Article 1. Bros before hoes.
But that is exactly what awful friend Chandler did when he kissed Joey's girlfriend, Kathy. Chandler had been fighting his feelings for Kathy since accidentally seeing her naked at the apartment. While at the apartment, Kathy gave Chandler a haircut, and there was no denying these two had a spark. The closeness of the trim led to Chandler betraying Joey and kissing Kathy. The two came to their senses. They couldn't do this to Joey.
Oh, it's the phone! The phone's making sounds!
Or could they? They did. Kathy stayed and she and Chandler kept on kissing. Bad friends. Season 4 of Friends saw on-again, off-again couple Ross and Rachel move on and explore new relationships. Ross fell for Emily, a lovely woman from across the pond. It didn't take long for Ross to be enchanted and get engaged with the intention of marrying Emily in London. But not if Rachel had anything to do with it. Instead of seeing Ross's newfound happiness and being a good friend to support it, Rachel behaved totally selfishly. She immediately made up an excuse not to go to London.
Somebody's gotta stay here with Phoebe. Drive her to the hospital in case she goes into labor.
You don't have a car. And your license expired.
Then, she decided she was going to fly to London after all, but with the intention of professing her love to Ross, something that would derail the entire ceremony. Okay, it would be fair to say that Rachel had a change of heart and ultimately decided that it would be better if Ross was happy.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Though, Ross didn't need Rachel to ruin his wedding. He had that covered himself.
Take thee, Rachel. Emily.
Yikes. Bad friends. In the episode The One Where Ross Moves In, Ross has to find a new place to live after Emily kicked him out of her apartment for that whole wedding vow disaster. As a solution, he moved in with his close pals Chandler and Joey. Things immediately go horribly because Ross is a bad roommate, so Chandler and Joey try their best to get rid of him. Why was Ross a nightmare roommate? Let us count the ways. His crazy humidifier he ran at all hours, his insistence that the apartment remain quiet all the time, and the irritating answering machine message he changed on their machine.
We will call you back.
Let's face it, Ross was the fun police and he was a nightmare in the eyes of Joey and Chandler. So, in a desperate bid to get rid of him ASAP, they showed him a small studio apartment for rent, something that was much more realistic of what you'd find in New York City. Keeping that sweet loft all to yourself, huh? Ultimately, the idea of their buddy Ross suffering in a tiny box apartment was too much to take. Joey and Chandler changed their minds and decided they'd rather have Ross around. They sabotage his application by telling the landlord he's a tap-dancing pimp with a large dog, a building manager's nightmare. The scheme worked, and Ross moved back into the loft for the time being, promising to be a better roomie. The whole thing just reeked of unhealthy boundaries. Bad friends. It takes a real crappy friend to take zero interest in the lives of people closest to them and not know what they do for a living. That's why we thought it was extra sus that in Season 4's The One with the Embryos, it was clear that none of the friends had any idea what Chandler's job really was. The friends played a trivia contest, the girls versus boys. If Monica and Rachel win, Joey and Chandler have to get rid of their beloved pet rooster, Yasmin. If Joey and Chandler win, they get Monica's sweet apartment, which is an insane thing for friends to do, but at this point, we weren't surprised. When the game came down to a winner-take-all lightning round, the girls lost it all when they were unable to name what Chandler does for a living. A deal is a deal, right? The friends spent the next 7 episodes in each other's apartments until Monica and Rachel finally decide to break the deal and sneakily move all their stuff back while Joey and Chandler are at a basketball game. Bad friends. Body shaming is never cool, especially when it's your friends making fun. That's why we thought it was totally tasteless that the group thought it would be okay to make fun of Monica when she was heavier. In the one with all the Thanksgivings, it's revealed that when they first met, Chandler was initially unattracted to Monica because of her weight, even referring to her as Ross's fat sister. Another example happened in the episode, the one with the prom video. Monica finds the home video of her and Rachel getting ready for their senior prom, but then fat Monica appeared on screen and the joke started flying.
Some girl ate Monica.
Everyone laughed at the joke except for Monica, who asked them to stop laughing. The Fat Monica joke thread popped up a few times over the show's 10 years, and each time her weight was played for laughs. Leash. Bad Friends. No sitcom would be complete without a holiday episode, and Friends Thanksgivings are always a classic. We get it, holidays can be crazy. Maybe this group just had an off year, right? No. Here's 3 examples of why this group is truly a bunch of ingrates. In Season 1's The One Where Underdog Gets Away, Monica went out of her way to prepare everyone's personalized versions of their favorite dishes, including 3 types of potatoes: lumpy mashed potatoes, like Ross and Monica's mom makes, mashed potatoes with peas and onions, like Phoebe had back home, and tater tots for Joey, a Tribbiani holiday tradition. They thanked her by mocking her when she said she felt overwhelmed, and when her food was ruined, no one seemed to care.
We all had better plans, okay? This was nobody's first choice.
In the one with Chandler in a box, Monica suffers an eye injury from some ice chips, but still manages to cook a full meal with no help while wearing an eye patch. Again, she is thanked with mockery.
Ew. Ew.
In the final season of the show, Monica finally decided she was done cooking for this ungrateful bunch, but they guilt-tripped her into doing it again. Bad Friends. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Hit that subscribe button and make sure you check out more of our videos to see what else needs to be ranked.